Certainly.
No, but he sets up a copy.
Good afternoon, all. Okay, guys, have at it.
You glad you got a All-American and a legitimate team to start the season with, or would you like to play a patsy right off the bat?
Oh, I think with our team, I think it's probably good that we play a good team to just find out where we're at. But certainly, the start of our schedule is kind of, definitely top heavy. With Santa Barbara, and then of course on Tuesday, and then going down to Orlando, and then you have Florida right after that, and Utah and Vegas. I mean, it's a great schedule. So, it may be a little bit much early, but we need to find out who we are and definitely be exposed and what we need to get better at. And he can certainly expose you because he's really good.
You have a big, concern or anything that going into the opener as far as your team? I mean,
yeah, I'm a little nervous. I think everybody is before you play your first game because you really don't know what to expect, and we hadn't had a chance to be together that long because we don't have that many returning. But I'm excited too. But nervous doesn't mean anything negative. It just means the unknown, and certainly we'll know more for tomorrow night.
Can you talk about Williams and what concerns you most about Santa Barbara?
Well coached. They've got multiple good players. I mean, Williams is their star, but Bryson's really a good player too, and he can move around and post, and good 3-point shooter, and good athlete, and they're really and they can stretch it a majority of the game at 4 spots, so it'd be hard to trap the post and do things like that. But Williams is a great guy getting angles. He scores before he catches. He's a man down there, and he goes after the ball like a man. So we haven't had anybody compete like he'll compete against us, even in practice guarding each other, because he really gets after it.
you wonder about your post defense.
Yeah. I wonder a lot about it and our length, and he's plenty good enough that if you play behind, he catches it and he scores over you. If you front him, he's great at sealing and you throw over, and they look to that. So we're going to have to be pretty alert on the weak side, that's for sure.
Coach, have you ever had a freshman as naturally aggressive as Cliff?
Yeah, I would say we probably have. Cliff looks more aggressive because he's 6'8.5", 240 pounds. I mean, we've had some really aggressive 570-pound guys. They just don't appear to be as aggressive. But he does play aggressive at times. You guys see him when the lights are on in the games. I see him every day, and I will tell you this: I want him to be much more aggressive than what he's been. So, but he is an aggressive by nature guy.
Well, the other day you guys did some full court pressure type stuff on the defensive end. How much of that was just to get a look at it, and how much of it do you want to do that this year?
No, that's who I hope we are. Even if it's we created a couple of not a couple, maybe a few turnovers just by being at the right place or being in the right place, and they kind of threw the ball away, so to speak. That's what pressure does. It doesn't necessarily mean you go take the ball, but when other people make a mistake, you're in position to at least take advantage of that. We definitely need to extend our defense up the floor, and I look to us doing more and more of that even as the season goes on, and becoming much better at it. We've spent some time working on it without question, but most of our stuff so far has been trying to be sound in the half court and that kind of stuff. So I would like to be able to extend at least pressure. I didn't say press, but pressure, and then still be sound in the forecourt.
Looking back at last year, have you had a chance? What do you think it was about last year's defense? The numbers weren't quite there compared to the normal years.
I think last year we didn't have great individual defenders. Usually we've been a good team defensive team, even if the individual defenders weren't excellent. But last year we really didn't have, other than Wiggs and Joe, we really didn't have good individual defenders. and point guard spot didn't put great pressure on the ball, and that's the thing you want to do is cut the head off, and they say the body will follow, and we didn't do that much last year. Wiggs, as good as he was guarding his man, he didn't create a lot of havoc, steals and running through passes, and Wayne I would say would be an average defender last year, much improved this year, and Perry was probably average last year, hopefully much improved this year, but we just didn't have I don't think we had the mindset last year. Regardless of what it looked like last year, we scored easy. We averaged 80 points a game, and that's a lot of points for us. I think our national championship team averaged 81, but we don't do that a lot, even though we play fast. That's a lot of points for anybody to score. And I think a lot of games we scored too easy. We would rather outscore folks than actually make somebody play but poorly. And I said that all year last year, and we actually got a little bit better at it. But certainly that's something that we got to be really good at this year.
Out of the guys on this team, who profiles as the best individual type defender?
I don't know yet. Jamari could be. I think Wayne could be a good defender. He ball watches all the time, though, so that's something that he's got to improve on. I think Devontae is potentially a good defender, and I think Svi, position-wise, is probably our best defender. After watching the tape the other day, Svi didn't play very well offensively, but he played a lot better after watching the tape. But I think we have potential to be a pretty good defensive team because we can heat people up.
Joel Embiid was sort of a mix of naturally sophisticated but raw.
Yeah.
His feet kind of that way. He looks older sometimes, but there
are to me, he doesn't look older. He's 17, but he looks 14. But I do think that he's beyond his years for a 17-year-old, without question, just like Joe was beyond his years for a 18, 19-year-old. Svi's played ball his whole life. Joe hadn't, obviously, but it's sometimes it's easier for those big guys to come faster than it is a guard, and Joe had the naturally gifted body and length and playing soccer I think helped his feet so much, and I think Svi's going to be a special player. The thing about Joe that I thought was pretty cool, Joe was conscientious, but things didn't bother Joe. He didn't get hung up if he didn't play great or if he made a bad play. Svi's too nice. He worries about everything, and he's got to get where things don't bother him. And I think that, and of course it's natural for that to happen with young kids. But I think as he gets a little bit older and be around here a little bit more, he'll get better in that area. He still amazes me. I mean, out there starting the other night and. I had to tell him where to run, to when they introduce him, because that'd be new. Think about 16,000, watching a high school junior play, that kind of stuff. It was a little bit, it was pretty there for a while.
Would you like to see Cliff get more aggressive at getting open?
No, going after the ball. Going after the ball. Every ball that our big when there's a ball in the air, Cliff's got to be the type of guy that believes that every ball is his. Thomas was that way. Cliff is not as aggressive as Thomas was yet. And I think you saw how Cliff runs in the exhibition games like a deer, and then he runs like a plow horse in practice. So there's obviously a big difference in him turning it up all the time, and but that's what I'm talking about. Always keeping a body on somebody, going after every ball with two hands, that kind of stuff. Cliff can do that. That's who he is, but he doesn't do that consistently yet.
So you're not cool with guys just turning it up when the popcorn's popping?
Yeah. No, I don't think that, and it's amazing to me what some of our guys come up with. I'd still like to see him turn it up once anyway. Period, But he was turned up a little bit the other day. He got 3 offensive rebounds the other day, and I'd say that's great way to go after the ball. But your responsibility is getting back every time we shoot it. So I mean, he actually got 3 balls that he shouldn't have got if he had done what he's supposed to do. But that's Brandon for you. That's kind of how we operate from time to time.
In the exhibition play, or I guess in practice recently, separated themselves or played their way into the starting lineup?
Well, we're going to start. We're for sure starting those 4, and I haven't decided what we're going to do on the 5th yet. We'll have a staff meeting today and talk about it because I really don't know what's best yet. So we're going to kick that around some more.
Is Kelly a guy still kind of finding his way?
Yeah, Kelly's finding his way. I thought he actually was aggressive and played pretty well the other night. But yeah, he's finding his way. You know, it's going to take him, you know, a little bit of time. Hopefully not long, but just like it will Cliff and Devontae and Svi to play to a level that we anticipated him playing at. He hasn't done that yet, but he's more than capable of playing at a super high level. But he's got to get confidence, and you get confidence through repetition, and you got to be able to play instead of think. And sometimes these guys are so screwed up because instead of playing. But all young kids go through that.
Has Landon's body changed a lot since he got here?
I think so. You know, you'd have to ask Andrea the exact details on body composition and that stuff. But I think he's a lot stronger. He's a lot leaner. He's a lot more explosive. You know, and you know, he's a very, very smart player. I don't know if you watch it and study it, but he just seems to know how to utilize his skill set better than most guys do. So I'm real pleased with him.
Coach, this time of year with the NBA getting rolling, how closely do you try to follow? You've got a lot of guys in the league this year.
17.
You try to keep up with everything?
Well, we have, I don't know how many we have in the league, but Kansas has 17 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that we've had, I think we may be at 15 or 16. So because obviously 3 are in the league that, you know, Drew and Nick and Kurt that we didn't coach, and then of course Darren's in the league from Illinois, and I'm trying to think who else from Illinois is in the league that we coach. I think he's the only one. So it's I've kept up pretty good. I watched the game in Mexico City last night. Wiggs had his moments, obviously, but Tariq played great. You know, Tariq's doing good. And then, you know, Markeith is, you know, playing probably the best of any Kansas alum right now, maybe of any Kansas alum. He may be playing as well as anybody. And then, of course, you know, Ben's starting to get in the flow a little bit. Somebody said he had 19 last night. Is that right? So, or the night before. So, you know, real pleased with all those guys. Real happy for them.
Coach, is it weird not having the students sit behind the bench anymore?
I haven't really thought about it. I would say probably not for me, but I hadn't even thought about it because to me the students were never behind the bench because where my seat is at the bench, you know, there's no students there. So I guess if you go to the end of the bench, there's an area there where the students were. So you know, I guess it's a little bit different, but I haven't noticed that at all. So I know why the decisions were made to do certain things and everything, but there's still plenty of good seats for the students to get, though. And they've been great. Our crowds in the exhibition games were unbelievable. I never thought that we would have that good of crowds for exhibition games, but we always do. It's amazing.
Do you think they'll be juiced for the opener and you don't have to worry about them looking ahead?
Yeah, I think so. I think our guys will be real excited to play tomorrow. And they shouldn't look ahead because Santa Barbara can come in here and have success and put themselves in a position to win or win. I mean, they're good enough to, and they're well coached enough. So I don't think that'll be a problem getting our guys juiced. But you know, come Saturday they'll be juiced for Tuesday, so that'll be a different type of deal. But you know that's part of it. I don't see this as a trap game at all. A lot of people say that. I don't see how your first game can be a trap game because our guys should be juiced to play.
Do you think they'll play zone extensively?
I don't know about extensively, but they're going to play zone. You know, they'll play a 3-2 and 2-3 and extend it a little bit and do some different things. And they may do some things that we haven't seen. But, yeah, they're going to play some zone.
Bill, one of these first couple of games would come down to kind of a last possession kind of thing. At this point, do you have any idea kind of what play you'd be running, or is it going with the hot hand, or how long does it take to figure your team out? To where
I think we'd have an idea what we'd like to do or where we want the ball to go. And, you know, without saying too much. I mean, we're going to put the ball in Frank's hand, and hopefully Perry can be a finisher, in some form or fashion. So that would be, because Frank can get a guy a shot or get himself a shot, and Perry's the best scorer we have. So that would be something that we would definitely try to do. Depending if we need a 3, maybe something else, but that would definitely be in the cards, regardless of who we're playing. I don't think that's any thing earth-shattering that we just gave you, because I think everybody would know that.
Frank didn't play much, if any, point guard before getting to Kansas.
No, not a lot. He was a scorer. Hear Frank tell it, he's the greatest scorer ever at his high school. And I said, no. Yeah, but I said, Frank, Moses played there. You weren't the greatest scorer ever. But Moses. So yeah, Malone, he was pretty good. But no, Frank he's always been a scorer. He's always going to be a scorer.
Is he better at looking for?
Better at getting other guys shots, but I don't think Frank's a true point. I think Frank's a scoring point. But one thing he can do, he can put his head down and force help. And when you force help, you create rotations, and he's really, really good at that. Better than anybody we have on the team by far at that. That's something that we didn't have any of last year, with the exception of Frank. And he didn't play that much, so it's pretty refreshing to see guys be able to get in the paint.
Is Devontae a great or good inside passer?
Good, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I think Devontae's a good passer. He and Wayne and Frank, knock on wood, they're statistically, they've done a pretty good job the first part, being aggressive but still taking care of the ball.
Coach, at the end of the home games, people have really fallen in love with Tyler. How much do you enjoy watching that at the end of those games? It seems like you have a little bit of fun with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I have fun with Evan and Christian and Josh too. Pollard, set the record maybe ever for attempts per minute the other night, and maybe misses per minute too. But it was nice seeing a Pollard and a Manning out there together, the other night. But yeah, Tyler certainly enjoys it, and I don't know if he enjoys the attention that he gets, but certainly he loves being out there with his teammates.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
Thank
See
you,
you.
Coach.